Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Steve. It's so great to be with you here today. I have an announcement for you. We're pretty excited to be able to tell you that the official premiere of our latest movie, One by One, will be on Friday, November 8th, 2024, at the Fireside Theater in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. There will be a very wonderful reception that the Fireside puts together. They do it for our annual events every year from 5 to 7 p.m. in the dining room area, and then the presentation and movie will be from 7 to 9:30. There will be more information on this coming in the weeks ahead, but we just wanted you to be able to get it on your calendar. We are also going to plan some activities around that screening, maybe some additional screenings, excuse me, and things like that, because we know that there's great interest in seeing this movie. We also may be planning some pre-screenings in some locations um, around the country in October prior to the official screening. But for all of you out there who have been so supportive with your time, your finances, and your prayers, please keep Friday, November 8th on your calendar. Keep it reserved for Salty Earth's Pictures premiere of One by One. Okay, someone who did a wonderful job in One by One, who played the character of Sue Rosenau, the wife of David Rosenau, and has been in three other Salty Earth Pictures movies, is the wonderful and talented Heather Ricks. We have an opportunity today to ask Heather a few questions, so here she is. Well, welcome, Heather Ricks. It's so wonderful to have you here. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, I'm always glad to help out my friends at Salty Pictures. Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate it and we appreciate you. I was thinking the other day about, what makes Heather so special. I mean, you really have been a leading lady for us now 4 times, which I think, you hold the record for female leads in our movies. And what I was thinking is you, with each character you play, you're true to yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? It doesn't become a characterization, or I don't think the roles you play, they don't, they don't seem hokey, but they seem so real. But in addition to being true to yourself, though, you become so believable to the people you play. As the writer and director, I mean, I watch these movies, I watch The Return, and I go, that's Leah of Nod. It's not Heather. I watch, the author star and the keeper and stand in the gap, and it's Mandy. I think there's this young lady with a daughter that lives up in northern Wisconsin.
Oh.
I'm convinced of it. And then now you haven't seen it yet, but I have, from beginning to end in a rough cut. You are Sue in our next movie, One by One, Mrs. Rosenau. In fact, when I met Sue for the first time, I said, I know who's going to play you.
Oh.
Heather, can you tell us a little bit about each of those characters and what made them special for you?
Oh my goodness. So Leah of Nod in The Return was, of course, my first role with you guys. And when I read that script, I knew that it was the role that I'd been born to do. Which I don't know, that sounds a little premature or whatever, but I knew that this was my role, and it wasn't even from an acting standpoint, but a story and who this person is standpoint, because of course Leah represents all of us. So I was like, well, it's in a certain sense of the word not too hard to play because I'm playing everybody, including myself, because it just represents the world who needs Jesus. Um, and that's always going to have a very special place in my heart. Not just because it was my first project with you guys, which was just so fantastic, but because of the story, what it meant to everybody, being able to see the gospel played out in a very different setting, which kind of breathes not new life, but a new perspective into that story. And I understand that there was some feedback from somebody. I think she had contacted Simon Provan, who played Yadid, that I think it was a woman. I'm not sure if I'm remembering the details exactly, but that this person had been at the end of their rope, shall we say, and watched this movie, and it turned their life around. And I thought, oh my goodness, if I never do anything else, my work is done. So that's always been so precious to me. And I don't know if whoever that person was might ever see this, but God bless you, whoever you are. And I'm so glad that that movie mattered and made such a difference, you know. Oh goodness. So then what the other ones was Mandy?
Yeah,
That was the next one, right?
mhm. You
Gonna
played her
keep going.
twice, so yeah.
Mandy was fun. Mandy was fun. I didn't necessarily relate to her exact circumstances, but I felt like I related to her as a person having to overcome some really challenging and painful things to become someone who could operate from a place of strength and wisdom and endurance and patience, while still uh, staying true to God, staying true to her being, how do I say it? Just a fully feminine woman who also operates from a place of feminine strength, because that's such a lacking thing in society now. And I thought that it was a privilege to be able to explore that a little bit from somebody else's perspective and somebody else's circumstances. And then of course to recoup, that's not the word. When I played her again in Stand in the Gap, I forget what the word is for that. Got to explore that a little bit further, trying to figure out why would she drive into somebody like this, but then seeing the redemption story. I know we all have some growing up to do, you know, all that. But and then being able to see that play out, and I love the aspect of not giving up on people. I feel like it was maybe in the background of her message of not giving up on people, and I think that that one's an important one as well. So then Sue, of course, I haven't seen it yet, so I can only go trust your word that it worked out really well. I felt like it worked out pretty well. I felt like I understood, you know, there was some parallels, not my life story and the real Sue's life story. There's a little overlap here and there. So I felt like emotionally, I very much understood where she was coming from in many aspects, which kind of made my job a little easier in some senses. But getting to play that, oh, this is a real person, not a character that I can sort of do with as I please. Like, oh, this is a real person. It's a treading carefully and respectfully, but still making someone like as a human being. We're all flawed. We all have these things, but still just trying to be tender with the story. And her story, I think, is kind of tender anyway. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, and from the acting perspective, you always want to be like, hey, have I grown? Have I, you know, am I doing better now? And you know, all that kind of stuff. And that's just, you know, part of your journey of watching that. So I'm kind of looking forward to it to seeing it from both angles. So
Well, we're looking forward to you seeing it, and I do not think you will be, or the audience either, will be disappointed by your performance of the movie. I'm pretty excited about the way it's coming together. You did not mention one role that you played. You actually are going to be playing yourself in a documentary about Daniel Truhitte, Rolf in The Sound of Music, and that's hopefully going to come out later this year too. Tell us a little bit about that experience of being with Daniel.
yeah, I gotta stop moving. It's blowing me out. The light's blowing me out. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. Daniel Truitt. Oh, he's just so precious. I loved working with him. He was just darling to interview. It was so much fun, and getting to watch him in a small sense of the word, try being able to walk down memory lane and relive some of those things, pulling out all these little details and stuff that, like, you know, there's been documentaries and various explorations of the story and the filming locations and stuff, but you still get to hear something new from each person, and getting to kind of walk down that memory lane with him for that was, oh, that was fun. That was special. I was glad to get the opportunity to do that, and I can't wait to see it.
I know it for me to, I remember sitting there when he on set, because he's been in two of our movies now,
Mhm.
and being able to say action on somebody that was in The Sound of Music, kind of a dream for me because of that being such a magnificent film, and
Oh
it
yeah.
affected so many generations, and that it still is. It's just amazing.
Hmm. Hmm. I remember him saying something about that to me, that having a legacy that's going to live past him and how much that meant to him to be able to do this. So I just, from a whole new perspective of, oh my goodness, you're right. Like I don't think I'd ever quite thought of that before. So it's fun to get to be able to be a part of that.
It sure is. In today's noisy world, and it is noisy, and it's
Hmm.
sometimes I think, we just walk through life in a daze because of everything that we're bombarded with in media and society. What's from your perspective, is there a place for an organization like Salty Earth Pictures, or are we too old fashioned? That's a comment we hear once in a while. What's your thoughts?
Old fashioned. What do you mean?
I mean, that's what the world sometimes think. Well, sometimes I think the world thinks our faith is old fashioned.
Oh, well, that's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, of course, I think there's a place for saltier pictures and other organizations that are like you guys. And it's always such a encouragement to see how many groups like you guys that are out there and they're all, kind of doing the same thing and for the same message and all that. But for a place, for Salty Earth Pictures to have a place in the world, oh, absolutely. We to bring purpose, to bring compassion, to bring new, not new, not I don't want to say new life because the word is life, but new perspective, a fresh look at truth, and that can break down in a lot of different ways. And to kind of have it's almost like these movies feel to me like you're putting your hand out for a friendly handshake to the rest of the world, saying hi. How are you? Welcome in. Here's what we have to share, type of thing. And for the Christian audience, I think there's a lot of things that can bring conviction in some instances, certainly encouragement, a little bit of empowerment and confidence, especially with this new project, since it's based on a true story and you get to see a different perspective of living out, being the hands and feet of Jesus, and that this person's real story. This is what really happened. And these were really the results, and these are really the people that were brought to Jesus from it. And it's always just such an encouraging thing to see brothers and sisters all over the world who are doing and walking in obedience as they go. And then we get to portray, whether it's a true story or not, or based on a true story or not, we get to portray that to give a little bit of a facelift to what we have going on in media nowadays. So,
Yeah, that is so true. Thank you. One of the things you said one time in an interview that we were doing, and that really has encouraged me to this day, because here we are, Salty Earth Pictures, Wisconsin. I remember the first time asking you to come up to be in a movie. I'm like, I'm surprised she came because,
oh,
okay, they're making a movie in Wisconsin. Who is this guy? But anyways, one of the things you said in an interview one time that really means a lot to me is Salty Earth Pictures is the real deal. From your perspective, what do you mean by that?
well, so from when I first came up on that project and you reached out to me, I was like, who is Steve Zane? But where is Salty Pictures? Who are these people? What are they? And yeah, I mean, like do your due diligence to make sure that the person's legit and all that sort of thing. And everybody checked out. So I was like, okay, great, Um, but the real deal, I think part of my when you've never met somebody before and you don't want to know what to expect, I was like, okay, are they going to be how are they going to be like to work with? Are they going to be any kind of, man, I hate to say this, but are they going to be any kind of like uppity type of person? You know what I mean? Type of group of people? Are they like what's it going to be? And I had no idea what to expect. And then when I walked in and was just welcomed with open arms and laid out the red carpet for me and all these things. And I felt like, I think after just 2 days, I felt like I'd known everybody there for years. I was like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. It's a family environment, and not just because necessarily everybody there's some, of course, some actual family members, but it everybody that comes in becomes family. And I know a lot of people say that, and it's true on a lot of different sets. You will become family with the people that you're working with and all that kind of stuff. But it really is truly becoming a family. People just love each other and care about each other and support one another, and the friendships and relationships continue even in between projects and ongoing projects, and it's like a family reunion every time. To the point, sometimes maybe not for everybody, but for sometimes it kind of gets to the point where you forget, oh yeah, this is work, because it's just so much fun. And you don't get that necessarily everywhere. So anyway, that's kind of what it means to me.
Well, that I'm glad you feel that way, because that's the way we feel too. And we are so happy to have you as part of the Salty Earth Pictures family, and looking forward. This is the first time you're hearing this. Looking forward to seeing you, if not before, on in November, on November 8th. I believe it's Friday, November 8th, for the premiere
Oh
of
my goodness. Oh, is that
uh,
an informal announcement?
yeah. So looking forward to seeing you. at that, like I said, maybe we'll see you before. I got some things I'm cooking up.
Okay, all right. Never mind.
Thank
That's
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather, for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
We are so thankful for Heather and the other cast, and of course, the crew and the volunteers and everyone that helps us out so much in order to make these movies. And we are very excited that it's coming together, and we look forward to you seeing one by one very soon. If you're interested in seeing any of our other movies, just go online, search Salt the Earth Pictures on various platforms, Tubi, Amazon, you name it, and you'll be able to find a number of the rest of our movies. All right. Until next time, let me leave you with these words from John chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. Thank you. Thank you for helping us to salt the earth and to let God's light of truth shine out into a world in desperate need. We are so thankful to have you in the Salty Earth Pictures family. Until next time, God bless. Bye bye.